All right. Let's go. Let's get it started. Melissa, Futurama's back
It is.
for a third
Truly
time.
good news for everyone.
Third time's a charm.
Yes. The Fox run, the DVD movies, the Comedy Central run, the Hulu run. Yes. It takes many forms.
Yeah, it's an interesting one that there's been a show like that is like had that, like I feel like that and Community are like the little shows that could almost, right? Because they got canceled so many times and then picked up again somewhere else and all that stuff. But it feels like Futurama has an interesting place because it spanned for such a long time in my life. Like I remember when it first came out and like was a big deal, like a new show from the creator of The Simpsons.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. We just did a whole big grab bag of Futurama over on the review show and had a blast talking about
big.
all of that. Have you checked out the new ones yet?
I did.
At all? Yeah.
There's at least when I did slow down, I've got this. There's when I clicked on Hulu the other night. There was one new episode available to me to watch. I watched it with my roommate who was in a similar boat to you. She'd seen it around. She kind of liked it, didn't know it super well.
Yeah.
We had an absolute riot of a time. The new season premiere, series premiere for Hulu, the new Futurama was excellent. I was very happy to be back in that same old space.
That's good. Yeah, I've not checked it out yet. I probably won't. Like Futurama has been one of those shows that's like at some point I want to go back and watch all of it. Like, and that is also the kind of person that I am. Like, if I'm gonna start a show like that, I'm gonna start from square one, even if there might be some like machete, like chopped up order, like watch these ones from season 1 and then those ones from season 2, and here you'll know all, you know, that way you'll have seen the important ones. Nope. I want to do it all. Square one. Here we go.
For a second, I forgot about the machete order in which you watch Star Wars, and I thought you were just naming like a weapon, like just any sort of thread. Like
I would have watched the slingshot version of Futurama. You start in episode 1, and then you can go all the way to the episode 300.
You saying I want to go back to the beginning, even if there's a machete, made me think of shows where people are like, "Oh, it really gets good in like season 2," and you're like, "I'd really prefer to start the beginning at season 1," and then that person took out a knife.
Also, yeah.
Like season 2, episode 7. That's where you begin. Do you want to die on this hill? And you're like, "I will." Season 1, episode 1, or death.
Exactly. That's also what I mean. It's the double-edged sword order of Futurama.
We need more orders for things. I do think the machete cut, not the machete cut, nobody's put it together. Maybe Topher Grace has in his own private time as an editor. But like, we need more orders for things. Just arbitrary orders for things.
The world
needs very funny.
More order. That's all. Just end the sentence right there. Good stuff. Melissa, I have a soda as usual. I guess not as usual,
Tell
but
me.
as I often do. I have an interesting
Most
one.
times.
Melissa, just from the color of this, can I have you describe it and describe what flavor you think it is?
Okay, you're holding up a glass bottle. The soda inside is bright Kelly green. It's got a yellow bottle cap and a red label. You're holding the main text of the label away from me, so I can't see anything that it actually says.
Yeah.
I would imagine that given those 3 colors, I'd say an apple. Apple's known to be green, but known to be red as well, and sometimes yellow. So they're like, we're going to pay tribute to all the classic colors of apple in this
Wow,
packaging.
You sure know your apples.
I've seen them. I've eaten them.
This is in fact not apple flavor. I don't know if you can read the text on the label. It says Billy's Bubble Pop orange.
Orange?
It's orange flavored. It even says made with real sugar. I don't know if it has any like artificial flavors, all that good stuff. I don't know. It says it's orange flavored.
Wow.
And it's bright as green.
This is an optical illusion.
It really is. Let's open this guy up and see how it tastes.
Is it true?
That's an orange soda.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, yeah. It has a little bit of a different aftertaste than your typical orange soda, but it is still an orange flavor. It's almost like an orange cream, but it's not. But yeah, I saw this at Pop 66, where I got all of these sodas that I've been drinking on some of the
we got to get sponsored
here.
by Pop 66,
right?
They've come up so frequently.
Mountain Dew and Pops, right? That's
right.
That's what we need. But yeah,
next time I come to Oklahoma City, we're recording live from Pops.
But yeah, this is when I saw it and I was like, ooh, I like that green. And I looked at it and I was like, orange? What? No, I have to get this. Why is it green? I don't understand. And like, that's the thing is like all of the Billy Bubble Pop sodas were not the colors you would think they were. So you could get an orange one and it'd be like root beer, or you'd get like a clear one and it'd be like cola. Just like,
these
what?
are
How
for
do they
pranks.
do that? Yeah,
these are prank sodas.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is what I am sipping on. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 246 of the Whatnauts Captain's Log, where each week we thirst for the taste of legend. I almost said legend. Vengeance. It almost came back.
You know what you need to do? You need to get 6 of those bottles of weird Billy sodas, strip the labels off, and do like a soda Russian roulette with friends.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be fun. Indeed. My name is Kyle Springer, and I am joined by Melissa Wilkinson. Melissa,
hello.
How's your week been?
Are you a gum guy?
No. I like gum just fine.
I remember
it was like the cool thing to do in high school, to be like, screw you, teacher. I'm going to eat gum anyways.
We do it so few ways to rebel safely.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Gum was one of the top. How often do you enjoy a gum?
Very rarely.
Okay.
I mean, like every once in a while, if whether I have it or someone else does, especially if they offer me one and it's like, yeah, we did just get like some big greasy burgers or some real like garlicky something, like let's get something to put some more order into the world, right? Let's
right.
calm things down a little bit. But you usually know that's very few and far between.
Gum flavor preferences?
Not a big fan of the like hot cinnamon. I'm fine with it if that's what we got, but I'll go for like the juicy fruit or bubblegum flavor. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not super picky.
I've been thinking about gum a lot today.
Wow.
Gum's such a weird food. First off, is it food? Question number 1.
Asking some hard-hitting questions.
It's so ubiquitous, but nobody talks about it. There are no discussions had about gum. You and I have, in 5 years
Melissa,
of doing this, never mentioned gum.
We could start the first gum podcast. The Gumcast. see if that's actually
that
a thing.
audio sounds really troubling. I don't think people would stand for that. It would have to be a newsletter, no audio involved. We mail you a postcard once a month that describes a gum we had.
It'd be like an ASMR podcast, so it is the like mouth sounds while we're sitting there like,
that can be somebody's vibe.
I think this gum is really good.
It's got notes of pepper and mint. It has notes of winter and green.
But it's orange. Who would have thought? How'd they do that?
I'm a gum fan. In specific scenarios, gum is my afternoon treat at work after I have lunch. Just to what?
We're too slow. The Gumcast already exists. It is a podcast that did 2 episodes.
Oh my God.
Michigan Gumcast Week 10 from November 11th, 2020. An hour and 16 minutes. The description says, no gummies, lots of stupidity. Episode 2, Gumcast, Semis with Tato. From December 16th, 2020, 42 minutes long. Uncut and unedited. Raw like the sex I have. That's it. Podcast over.
Definitely.
Lord.
That I definitely have all the time with so many supermodels on
especially
top of a Ferrari.
With a podcast called Gumcast.
Every afternoon at work, I enjoy myself a gum as a treat, just to sort of keep myself occupied while I do the more mundane tasks. And I'll enjoy a gum during a movie. Always have a gum during a movie. Keeps me from drinking water. I'm staying in my seat. I don't get up during movies. I have rules. So in these situations, I really enjoy gum. I rely on gum.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody asked me, I guess, do you love gum? I don't know if I'd say I love it, but it is a helpful tool in my life. And there have been times, and I think that's the relationship most people have with gum. Do people love gum whose names aren't Violet Beauregard? Did she even love the gum, or did she just have her eyes on a dumb world record? I'm going to chew gum the most because I think I can do it. Like, is she happy? She turns into a blueberry. I don't know how she feels then.
It feels like the Guinness Book of World Records has been on the decline since the early 2000s. So maybe back in the day there were some gum champions, right? Some
the Joey Chestnuts of gum
enthusiasts. Yeah, but nowadays, it's like watching a documentary on like whoever had the like biggest bubblegum bubble from 1995 in the Guinness Book of World Records, and now you just get to like follow them around in their daily life nowadays. When did the gum bubble pop? Right? When did gum become not as popular?
Maybe when hot fries became popular, because I don't think we've had those forever.
But that's when you need gum. You eat the hot fries and then you have gum.
Did you go to a hot fries high school like I did?
Yeah.
Did all of us? Are we just the hot fries generation?
Absolutely. Yeah.
We were all hot. I wasn't. But if you asked me to name the foods of my peers, we were all hot fries and sour belts.
That second one I'm not familiar with.
Oh, like a rainbow? Little rainbow candies?
I can imagine what they are. The like the like sour strips of
those guys.
Gummy-ish candy. Yeah.
I like gum. I rely on gum. I've once, like a couple of years ago, because I would try and mix it up, try different flavors.
Sure.
I found that during the times when I had to wear a mask at work, like I had to revert to fruit gums, because otherwise I'm like chewing a mint gum and like breathing mint air up at my eyes between the gap in my mask. And I'm like, this is bad for eyes. You're not supposed to get mint in them.
Or
so get like a raspberry
like
gum or
mentholated
something.
Gum or
just mint
like that. Yeah.
I think, what's my favorite mint? Wintergreen, maybe. I like the Orbit Sweet Mint. I'm really gonna have a conversation about gum to make up for how nobody else talks about gum. Like we all, I think, have we all have our secret gum thoughts and preferences, but they are just never worth speaking about until tonight. Gum gets its day in the sun.
I think I fell off of gum. I've been sober 15 whole years. No, I think I fell off of gum right around the time that five gum like came into the consciousness in a major way. I don't know if they were like an older gum that had been around, but they had that ad campaign that was like edgier, right? Or trying to be
5 gum,
exactly.
And it's like you fall into a pool full of ball bearings.
Exactly, and it's just like I still don't understand what it's like to chew
Too
5
extreme.
gum. Never will. I'm done. Cold turkey.
Another thing I realized,
switching to cigarettes.
If we're talking, I'm the one person who went the other way. I quit gum to pick up smoking.
You love it. You love to see it.
If we're talking sodas, regardless of your actual personal preference, everybody knows Coca-Cola, king of sodas. And I'm like, what's the king of gums? Like, if I Google best gum, is there like a Mashable article ranking these? Has anybody thought about gum that hard? Or is the answer just, I don't know, what's on sale? What's in stock in the checkout line? Do I want blue or green? That's how much people think about gum. So I Googled best gum and I found an article from your own GoPuff, who you cite often as a source of sending you alcohol and candy and things. And they don't give you any rulings. Like, they didn't say, like, we invited a 12-person gum council to decide who, like, the best brand, best for teeth, best mint, best cinnamon, best, for whitening, etc. Like, they just say it and they don't tell you
doctors,
why.
Recommended by dentists, recommended by Matt, who's on his staff in the back there, right?
Like, they said, where's the one? They do talk about the Orbit Sweet Mint, which I do enjoy. It's labeled best gum for teeth, Orbit Sweet Mint. You want fresh breath, you want to take care of your teeth, but you want to treat yourself too. Orbit hears you. This article treats gum like a real treat. And it isn't
a luxury.
It's like the minimum of treat. This is the least treat a treat can be to fall under the category is gum.
You're not even supposed to swallow it.
Right? Is it food? I don't know. It says, keep your mouth feeling fresh and boost your confidence with sugar-free gum, given the seal of acceptance by the American Dental Association for superior quality. So just acceptance is where we're setting the bar here. It's not lauded, but they permit Orbit Sweet Mint
notes, ran experiments and all that stuff, and then just go, acceptable.
And it says superior quality again. What does that mean? Like, there's no comparison from gum to gum, which is what I was looking for. Like, if you put Trident and Extra next to each other, what are the benefits of both?
next year, our taste test episode,
Gosh,
all the gums
gum.
we can think of.
That's going to be maddening. Like our mouths are, a mouth can't take that much mint at once, I don't think.
Well, you'd have to
sounds bad for
switch
mouth.
it up, right? You'd have to have like you'd have to do the like wine tasting thing where you have something to rinse your mouth
Chew
out
it for
and just
10
sit
seconds,
back
spit it out.
Yeah,
God, we just
yeah.
have gross little gum buckets. We're still in a vineyard. We brought the gum to a vineyard.
Oh no.
We're outside.
Oh no.
Gum into buckets. Okay, but this GoPuff blog article lists 5 gum peppermint cobalt as best pick-me-up gum. And what it says is 5 gum
Caffeine in
peppermint cobalt will shake up your day. Its
Ooh.
intense flavor is a wake-up call for your mouth and makes your day more daring. Get ready to step out of your comfort zone and try something new with peppermint. Like, it's purely,
Wow.
like, even calling this flavor text, this is not on the same level as what we call flavor text, this GoPuff blog. Like, they just looked in the GoPuff catalog of what gums can people order from us. Let's, like, come up with 2 sentences about each gum. Like, it really, what is the rubric? How are you determining these? How is this going to make me more daring? What do you mean wake up call? Like, is it literally a more intense gum,
Well, that's
like
the thing.
peppermint flavor than anybody else? Like, this seems so subjective. And I want like objective science about how gums are good.
I feel like gum has taken on a similar space to mints, right? In the sense that the mint has a purpose. It is meant to freshen your breath, right? To be like, you just ate some real greasy, garlicky thing. You can fix that with a mint. Gum can do the same thing. But gum can also be like infused with nicotine if you are trying to get off of cigarettes. Unlike me, I just started, right? No, I'm kidding. Or like it can be infused with caffeine and can be like a small pick-me-up if you need that. Can
it? Have you literally seen caffeine gum, or are you imagining this? See, this is the question.
I see caffeinated.
What is it going to do to me
gum.
Googling this much about gum?
Let me see.
Okay,
Military
like
energy gum, Meg. 100 milligrams of caffeine.
That's going to put me in a trench for sure.
Rev gum. Yeah, it
Meg.
looks like, yeah.
Rev.
Yeah, Max. Jolt. Yeah, I mean, it looks like there is like caffeinated gum. I'm sure you could even do some like weed gum or something like that.
I'm sure, yeah. Any sort of substance can be put in a gum.
And that's the thing. Like it has purposes like that, but can also kind of be like a fidget spinner kind of thing. It just occupies your mouth.
That's what I use it for.
Exactly.
Fidget spinner for teeth.
Exactly. So that I think is the purpose of gum.
You never see gum recipes. You've never heard of a person making gum at home. Nobody uses a gum recipe from their grandmother from the old country. There's no Italian gum. I Googled it today. I've never seen one. I'm like, gum recipe. And it's like, first you start with a gum base. And I'm like, what's that? Where does that come from? You never go to the farmer's market. Nobody makes artisanal gum. There's no small batch gum.
Yeah.
It's like in this weird shadow realm of foods. It's fallen through the crack. Is it food? Is it tool? What is gum?
Finding gum recipes, but it's exactly what you said. It's like, all right, start with a 1/3 cup of gum base. And it's like, what? Is that at Kroger? Can I get that at Walmart? Where
Can I
is
go to
this? Do I have
Whole?
to go to, like,
Literally, tell me if I can't buy it in a store, even a specialty store. I'm not doing it. I refuse to
Yeah.
order an ingredient online. I have to buy an ingredient with my own two hands, please.
Yeah.
I just
Interesting.
think I thought about gum so little that then I flipped the other way, and now I'm thinking about it too hard.
That's it. We've outgummed ourselves.
I really do like a variety of gums, and I tried to find a subscription box. Like, just if I know I have like 5 to 7 gums a week, can I just have somebody mail me new gum every month? And I Googled
Probably
it, and
could.
it's like, there's sites that seem like they did have a gum subscription box once that stopped. They just don't exist anymore. There's not enough demand. Or it's stuff like, yeah, you can just get a recurring package from Amazon of the same Trident you always get. Or if you have like a Quip toothbrush where they send you new toothbrush heads in the mail, you can add, you can add gum onto that, but it's not like, it's not for the culinary enjoyment of gum. It's only for teeth.
Gotcha. I gotcha. Gum. We solved it. There you go.
we just asked a lot more questions. That's how I've been this week. I've been gum.
Alyssa, speaking of questions, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Do you ever just have a really long streak of bad luck?
I have streaks of my own ineptitude, but it never feels like it's coming from some outside karmic force. Well, it feels karmic in that it's like, this is entirely driven by me. I did this.
Interesting, because I feel like my partner and I have just had like 2 weeks of just straight up bad luck.
Both stepped on a rake.
Black cats everywhere, broken mirrors under ladders, all sorts of stuff. It's one of those times where like everything is going wrong at the same time. And not in our relationship, but just like stuff in the house or like at our jobs or just in our like all sorts of stuff is just going wrong. And I will tell you all about that when we come back from the break, because we're gonna do some housekeeping real quick. We'll be right back. Here at the Whatnauts, we make multiple different shows, and a lot of hard work goes into making
them.
On
Futurama, they've always had,
if you enjoy our shows,
whenever the characters are watching TV, they'll cut away, and it's a Twilight Zone style show called
a month,
The
you can
Scary
get early
Door.
access to episodes.
The new one
it's
exactly the same, but it's called The Scary Mirror.
Podcast, The Pilots Club. You can even get a shout out and thank you on most of our shows at the $5 tier. And if you're one of our patrons already, thank you so much. It means the world to us. You can find out more information on our website, thewhatnauts.com, as well as your favorite podcasting platform of choice. When you type in the Whatnauts, all of our shows will pop up right there. Just don't forget to give us a nice rating and review if you like the shows. You can also find us on YouTube and Twitch for video versions of the shows, trailer reactions, and live streams. And lastly, we have merch. If you want to grab yourself a shirt or a hoodie or a mug or something else, head over to thewhatnauts.com/store to pick up some merch today. All right, we are back. A big shout out to all of our Patreon supporters. We love you a lot. Thank you so much.
Love you more than gum.
Wow, that's saying a lot considering the conversation we just had all about gum. Over on the Pilots Club, our Patreon exclusive podcast this past month, we covered Cable Girls, a soapy 1920s period piece set in Spain on Netflix. You guys can go check it out. And coming up this next month, the pilot of Veronica Mars is what we will be talking about. So be on the lookout for all of that. Over on the review show, we already mentioned it. We covered some Futurama, 7 episodes from the lengthy entirety of all 10 seasons of Futurama that there was. So timely episode with that. Over on the Reactor Core, Melissa, you and I just finished recording our thoughts on Secret Invasion. The finale happened this week. And we got to talk about that. We also got to record a spoiler cast for Barbie and Oppenheimer, but we did those all like an all-in-one Barbenheimer experience.
They belong together.
They do belong together. Oh, that's sweet. And then coming up this next weekend, we will be discussing the Venture Bros movie. The Venture Bros Radiant is the blood of the baboon heart. I watched it earlier today. So I can't wait to talk about it. It's going to be good. Yeah. And then right here on the Captain's Log, if you didn't check out all of the shenanigans we were up to last weekend, we talked about stuff like the moon landing, what food challenges we do, and if a real cheeseburger is actually just made out of like 20 stacks of cheese.
20 slices in a stack.
Sure, yeah.
I don't know how you determine how much is a stack and then have 20 of whatever that amount is.
Who knows? But yeah, we got all up to all sorts of stuff last week. It was fun. We have a lot of great content here at the Whatnauts for you to check out. But yeah, that is about it for housekeeping. So let's get back to my bad luck.
Okay.
So yeah, we've just had like everything go wrong in the past. Well, it's kind of bubbled up in the past 2 weeks. Some of this stuff has been ongoing or stuff like that. My partner got into a bit of an accident in her car, which sucked. Thankfully, the other person's insurance is paying for or something. She's not having to pay. It is about to get fixed. All that good stuff. But yeah, the guy was like driving on the shoulder of the road to cut through traffic and just completely like swiped her. So that sucks. And that was like after there was another thing with the car that happened like a month or two ago, and we just dealt with that, and then this happened, and it was just like, oh, this sucks. On top of that, she tried to buy me these posters from this guy's website. These like custom art print posters that this guy made. And he was having a sale, which is how she found out about it. Bought two of them. I think one of them was in the sale and one was not. But had a whole big thing with him in which he just kind of stole her money.
Oh.
And that was it. The ones that were on sale were supposed to ship within 12 weeks. The ones that weren't, that were like were in stock, I think were like 4 weeks. That 4 weeks went by, nothing came. That 12 weeks went by, nothing came. And so she was just like, hey, what's going on? She had been in contact with him a couple times, and eventually just started getting like real short responses from the guy, just all that stuff. And then he stopped responding. The 12 weeks went by, and then she got in contact with her bank to be like, well, what can I do about this? And they were like, well, technically, if it's after those 12 weeks, that's the cutoff period for when you can do like a charge the back thing. So it was essentially he stole all of her money for these posters. Thankfully, she's disputed it and it got taken care of. But still, it was just like, now we have to deal with this. Like someone just stole all this money. On my side of things, I guess for both of us, We've had a consistent issue with our plumbing since we moved in here, that like dirt and sewage was coming back up into the tub every so often. And we would call a plumber. They would like go on top of our roof and somehow like snake it all out with some big machine that like went down in there and did all that. Don't ask me. I'm not a plumber. I don't know how. But they had to go on the
roof. Those don't go together unless you're Mario.
They had to get on the roof to use this machine to like snake it from some vent in the thing. Who knows what? But they did that a couple times, and at the end of the day, they were just kind of like, unfortunately, your problem is probably just old pipes. So we can snake it out for you, and it'll fix it like more immediately, but it's probably going to happen every 6 to 8 months. And it happened periodically. One time they came, and then like a month after it happened again, and we were like, you said 6 to 8 months. What the hell, dude? And we eventually tried sulfuric acid, which is like Drano on steroids. So we did that, and even that didn't seem to work. Things were still getting clogged up and coming back up. So we finally got a new plumber to come check this out. And almost immediately he was like, oh, I know what the issue is. And he was like, let me guess, the other plumbers just tried to like snake it out. And I was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, they didn't do a thing. Like they didn't do a thing. So essentially he went out back behind our house, dug a hole where a certain pipe is to show us the pipe, and was like, your pipe is shattered. Like there is roots in this thing. It is like that's why like dirt and stuff is coming in. So, like your pipe is basically destroyed. So he was like, unfortunately, that means now that I dug this hole, you can't really use your toilets or shower all that much. Use it sparingly. And he was like, we'll put in the bid to, hey, if we can start working on this. But then he left, and we didn't hear anything. And we didn't hear anything for 2 or 3 days.
Just leave a hole in somebody's backyard.
Right. And we've had an issue with our property management company where we would put in a maintenance request and would just hear nothing. There were some that like went unopened for months. Thankfully, it was not like an urgent thing, but it was just like, you guys have like, it has the read receipt on it. Like you haven't even looked at this thing yet. There's been stuff where they said they would get on it, and then again, just no word for weeks. And so we've gotten very upset with them and wrote them like long reviews of like, this service here was like the actual person who came to do the thing, spectacular. They were good. They were fine. But you guys, like just no transparency, no communication. We have to call you. You're asking us to call these maintenance people when that's your job, all sorts of stuff. So we had to do the same thing and like call multiple times to be like, hey, I called yesterday. You said you would call back. You never did. And they'd just be like, okay, yeah, we'll get back to you on that. And it's just like, no, we're staying on the line until we get an answer. So it's been a nightmare. But they finally came today to dig up all of our backyard and replace the pipe. They had a full, like, they had to, like, take down our back fence and then go in through the Luigi's Pizza parking lot with a, like, bobcat, like construction work crane thing to dig up all of this stuff. Yeah. So thankfully that's now taken care of, but a day or two after we had all of that like just start, our oven stopped working. Thankfully the stove works. Like we can still cook on the stove, but the oven itself is just not working. It's just been like one thing after another. Last thing about all of this, I've been in the process of getting a crown on one of my teeth now that I have a full-time job and I have insurance and all of that good stuff. I can catch up with that. And I got a temporary crown on recently, and they're gonna put the permanent one on start of next month. And like a week ago, it just came off by itself. Like wasn't even chewing on anything like sticky or like hard. It was just off, and it was just, I was like, what? No, what? So I had to go all the way back to the dentist to get that put on again. When I first left, I forgot it. I left it at home, so I had to tell my Uber to like turn around and go back to my house to go get the thing.
It's just like in a cup on the counter.
I had it in a little plastic bag. Yeah. Just be like, hey doc, this thing came off.
This is like when somebody's finger comes off in a movie. Put it in a
put it in a bag.
Right.
We'll need that later. Yeah. So that's been my life the past like 2 weeks. Just one thing after another, bad luck after bad. Thankfully, most of it has like worked out or gotten taken care of. So it's not like sticking and everything is gone wrong that way, at least. So that's good. That's good indeed. Oh man. Let's see here. What else can we talk about?
What is the biggest puppet you've ever seen?
Biggest
in
puppet.
Real life?
Puppet in terms of like stick your hand up its ass and like that way, or like
any definition of puppet.
So I guess it would be when I was in college. For our sculpture class in our like
the
first
big
year,
skeleton.
The big skeleton.
Okay, you've told me about the big skeleton.
Yeah.
Okay, that can count as a puppet. Yes.
That would be the biggest one. So think the like, I was about to say Office Depot, the Home Depot like lawn skeletons that are like
12-foot
30
skeletons.
Feet. Yeah, I guess not hardy feet, but essentially that, but bigger and made out of like paper mache.
How are the bones all connected to each other?
They probably had I forget what we did. I want to say we just took like wire and kind of like poked it in and tied them together somehow, or like put hooks on them or something. Was it that, or did we all have like did we all like, because we paraded them down the street.
So was this were the bones all connected together, and were they all like draped over your shoulders like the skeleton was crowd surfing on all you kids?
Yes, it was like it was crowd surfing is exactly what it was like. But I don't remember, if we had like wire or if they had like hooks in them, or if there was just like, we just stuck like sticks in between them to like loosely hold them together, and we just took this thing down the street, right? That was it. We had like a little Halloween parade thing.
Cool.
Yeah, little local.
Gotta get more of
parade.
Those.
What's the biggest puppet you've seen?
I think I saw it last night.
Oh.
The Muni, the local summertime outdoor musical theater. Last night they did Little Shop of Horrors. That's their show this week. A personal favorite of mine.
More?
I made you watch the movie with me on a very early review show. It's a formative text of my life. I love that movie. No time when I see the stage version am I quite as attached to it as I am to the movie, but I still see it whenever I can. I've seen it live like 3 times. And This version of the Muni was very impressive. You remember there's those three like doo-wop girls who are like the Greek chorus of the thing. They come out at the beginning. Exactly. They do all of that. They come out at the beginning of the story and they give the prologue of, on the 21st day in the month of September, in the early year of a decade not too long before our own. They set the stage for this like cosmic being that is the plant that comes down to Earth. They come out and they have this like their spines are rigid, but their limbs are limp and like their heads are lolling to the side. Like they're really acting like we are puppets. We are being like possessed by the spirit of the chorus telling you the story of the space
marionettes.
Yeah. Like they have that kind of going on with their body language whenever they're in that sort of meta level. Not just when they're talking to Seymour about like, gee, some plant you got in the window. Like whenever there's sort of this outside force, they take on that physicality. And the same thing when like they first put the Audrey 2 in the window and that one guy comes in like, wow, what a strange and unusual plant. I might as well buy $50 worth of roses while I'm here. Like that guy comes in like he's being pulled from a wire in his chest. Again, like chest forward, limbs limp, like he's just being dragged. Like he's not a man. He's just
some
like
invisible
a
force.
Right.
Yeah, just pulling him
Every
in.
once in a while, they'd hit it with that really like uncanny body language. I've never seen that before. And the Audrey 2, this sucker is a full body puppet. Like it's not just like a little like hand puppet thing in a pot when Seymour first brings it out. It's like this huge thing on a cart he wheels out. When the plant grows, there's like a person inside who like stands up and they're in this like whole green like tube with a like a little bulb head at the end. And then the big version, when they make the big Audrey 2.
Yeah.
This thing's massive. And it's got all of these like sort of mouth leaves that like fold back and they're still sort of like, those are puppeteered too. So they're sort of like wafting around. And then there's a guy in there. You see the guy clearly. Puppeteer front and center. Real star of the show. He's not speaking, but he's so expressive and he's so sweaty. It was like 95 degrees and like who knows how much humidity last night. A real nightmare. And he's got this like the head of the puppet. It's like the xenomorph. When the xenomorph opens its mouth and there's a little mouth inside, that's what they did with this Audrey too. So all these leaves open up and there's a guy inside, like flapping his hand with a little Audrey 2 head on it that's like, I don't know, 2 feet wide. And it's attached to this vine. And he can leave the like big puppet structure and walk around. There's a long vine. He like stretches around and like wraps it around Seymour. So the flower's like right up in his face. It's so cool. I've never seen that take on an Audrey 2 before. It's so big. Awesome. It's so wild. And then for the very, very end of the show, when they do the whatever they offer you, don't feed the plants number, which I know was like a filmed but deleted scene for the movie. It's not in the theatrical cut. Then they have like this huge like Demogorgon thing, like this thing that's got like stilts. It's like hung up from like the catwalk over the stage. These big legs, big arms, like this massive spindly flower-headed thing. And like that's the last thing you see in the musical. I love puppets. I love live puppets. I love to see them right there in front of me. This is such a dream of a show. I had such a good time. They really knocked it out of the park with this one. Little Shop's like, in my experience, like a little tricky to do when I've seen it live, just because it's a fairly small, intimate show. Like it doesn't have like a big ensemble cast or like big set piece numbers or a ton of choreography that's more than like 3 people at a time. Like the big Skid Row number isn't that big compared to a lot of other musicals on this level. So sometimes when you see it on a big stage, it feels sort of like swallowed by like the size of the stage that's meant for like giant like Be Our Guest 42nd Street numbers.
Sure, yeah.
And they did a lot better job just filling it this time. Like
That's
it
cool.
was a lot more like big and lively, and I was very proud, very, very happy with this visit to the shop.
That sounds fun. Sounds fun indeed.
Check it out. Find your local theater. What's so funny about Little Shop of Horrors is when my high school did it, there's one local university that's like, we have an Audrey 2 and we have a dentist chair. Because like you can't just use like a regular chair for the dentist scenes. And where are you going to go get a dentist chair? So there's one university that like has those two weird props and will like lend them out to every school in the area.
Amazing.
And this, of course, was a custom puppet job. But I don't know about the chair. Like, I look at it and I'm like, how many little shops does one dentist chair see in its lifetime? It's looking at a piece of history whenever you see that dentist chair.
That's fun, though.
How many theater kids have made out in that dentist chair?
Exactly. The world may never know. That's good. Let's see here. I wanted to do a little bit, kind of some Comic-Con highlights, Eisner Award winner highlights, a Beetlejuice 2 update. We do have an update for Beetlejuice, yeah. Yeah, I'll start with Comic-Con stuff here. So Comic-Con happened this past weekend. And it was an interesting one because most of the like television and movie studios all backed out. I think they knew the strikes were kind of just about to happen, so it probably wasn't worth them spending all the money if people were just gonna strike and then not be able to go there. So yeah, it's it's interesting because the Comic-Con was, as a result, more focused on comics. What do you know? And from what I understand is that people really enjoyed that it was more focused on comics. What do you know? Comic-Con, that was supposed to be about comics, is still good when it's just about comics. But yeah, there was all sorts of announcements and stuff. I'm not going to really go through them all. Or anything like that, but I might pull out a few here. There's a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Last Ronin 2, Re-Evolution. Apparently they liked this like post-apocalyptic version of the TMNT. I don't remember which one survived or if he found the other ones or if they're still alive. But that is the idea, right? It's like there's one of them left, roaming the apocalypse. There's stuff like that. Marvel announced this new book called Timeless, which seems to be taking place in the it's like, who is the last living superhero in the future at the end of time? And oddly enough, the guy looks kind of like Luke Cage, but with the Iron Fist, which is interesting. Yeah. Ram V announced that he has a 2-year exclusive contract with DC Comics. So he'll be writing. He's been writing detective comics right now. So he's been on Batman. We just read the Many Deaths of Lila Starr from him over on the review show. Mike Mignola, the creator of Hellboy, just announced Giant Robot Hellboy coming October 2023. So if you want to see Hellboy as a giant mecha, be on the lookout for all of that stuff, right? Absolutely. I don't know how long it's going or if it is still going, but Dynamite Comics and Humble Bundle was having a Red Sonja 50th anniversary bundle You could get a bunch of Red Sonja comics. Again, we read some earlier this year on the review show. Stuff like that. We also, from what we did get of the TV stuff, we got a trailer for Invincible Season 2, which looks really, really awesome. We even got a special like one-off episode of Adam Eve, which is in the Invincible universe. But one of the main women of that show just gets her like, here's her origin story, here's everything she's been up to. So that was neat. That already came out. So if you have not watched that yet, you can go do all of that. Let's see, I'm trying to think here what else is kind of worth mentioning. I know just today, not really with Comic-Con, but Castlevania Nocturne just got its first teaser trailer, if you like the Castlevania show on Netflix. That is out there. Let's see, anything else?
I'm over here looking at the Eisner Award winners because we actually scanned over the nominees
switch over
when those came out. Just for stuff that sticks out to me, best short story is the Finding Batman story by Kevin Conroy and J Bone and DC Pride. I think that's very nice. I'm sure that his family all appreciated that. There's a lot of Tom King on here.
Oh, yeah, there is
for
indeed.
Best single issue and one shot for Batman, One Bad Day, The Riddler by Tom King and Mitch Gerards.
I read
and
that
Best
one.
Limited
Very
Series. Good. You got to pitch me. I want to read Human Target.
Yeah. Human Target is incredible. And Melissa, you would love it, I think.
I know I would. It looks like my favorite local van.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think some interesting stuff kind of besides those ones. Let's see here. Let's see. Best continuing series Nightwing. That's a good one. Chip Zdarsky's Public Domain got best new
You told
series.
me about that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't read that one, but I've heard good things and I'm interested to check it out. I've heard good things about Do a Power Bomb by Daniel Warren Johnson, which won Best Publication for Teens.
Mo Willems and the Pigeon Stories are up here for Best Publication for Early Readers. My niece does love those.
There you go. Good stuff. Best Writer, James Tinian IV. House of Slaughter, Something is Killing the Children, Win, Nice House on the Lake, The Sandman Universe, Nightmare Country, The Closet, Department of Truth. He's on fire.
He is. Great books. I'm very happy that now I can look at something like the Eisner Awards and say, I know like them. 3 or 4 of these names now.
Yep. Indeed. I know we aren't always the best on shouting out like who the colorist is of some of the comics that we read or like who the letterers are. But Jordi Belair won Best Coloring. She is like a mainstay in that category. We've probably read a number of the stuff that she's worked on.
I do know her name because she did the coloring for you know the audio drama podcast, The Thrilling Adventure Hour? They did a one-off graphic novel once, and her work was in there. And I still remember it from this one book.
She
from
does
like
so much
8 years
stuff.
ago.
Yeah. I mean, you like throw a rock into a comic book store. Don't do that. But if you did, you'd probably hit something that she worked on. Let's see here. Best web comic, Lore Olympus by Rachel Smythe on Webtoon. Barnstormers got the best digital comic, which is by Scott Snyder and Tula Lotte. That's on Comixology Originals. We've read some Scott Snyder stuff, American Vampire, and the Batman book that he did with the Owl, Court of Owls.
Yeah.
There you go. That good stuff.
Best comics related book is Charles M. Schultz, The Art and Life of the Peanuts Creator in 100 Objects. which sounds intriguing. Just like pictures of his erasers or whatever. I am intrigued to see that.
And this is the shoe that he wore when he first created Snoopy. Don't know why he only wore one shoe, but here it is.
Mysterious man Charles M. Schultz.
Right. Yeah, so the Eisner Awards all got announced during Comic-Con as well. So congrats to all of the winners for that. Kind of while we're here in pop culture stuff, Melissa, we have a Beetlejuice update. Beetlejuice 2. Yeah, so I'm basically just pulling up this tweet that I saw. This is it. This is the update. The Vermont set of Beetlejuice 2 has been struck by thieves who made away with multiple props, including an iconic statue from the first film.
Oh, it truly is iconic. It's that statue that Catherine O'Hara made with like the little hands, like the little like tendrils coming out of it. You know, it's the one that like then grabs somebody from behind, like wraps around. It looks like a little like zigzag. You know it. You know what I'm talking about. It's that statue. I've got
it almost
a sticker.
Looks like a spine, but like flattened out in the center.
A spine.
Right? Yeah.
I've got a sticker that's this statue. It's an illustration of this little statue, and it says, "This is my art, and it is dangerous." And I put that sticker on my like work badge that I like flash to get in the door, and I've got that on my keys. So the image of this statue is with me every day. It truly is iconic. I do have a love for this one prop from Beetlejuice. I am sorry to hear that it was stolen, but I was pleased to hear that it was around at all. Like it is part of the sequel, or was supposed to be.
Right. Yeah. That's an interesting fact for sure. I'm assuming because all the screen actors or the screenwriters and the actors have been on strike, a lot of these productions have kind of just halted, and the stuff is just kind of sitting there, I think. So unfortunate for the set of Beetlejuice, but that is our Beetlejuice 2 update for this week.
You got to get a sound to play whenever there's a Beetlejuice update.
Right.
2, I just got my tickets for the Beetlejuice stage musical that's coming through town.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Whole family's going.
I wonder if they have the statue now. If you guys aren't using it, we will.
The national touring company is taking hold of it.
It's actually the like only other prop besides the dentist chair.
Nobody can recreate it.
Right? They just have to use that one in every single production.
Just one.
Funny stuff. That was kind of all the like pop culture stuff that I had and wanted to talk about.
Nice run.
I know we're kind of at the end of the show here, but I at least wanted to shout out some things that I've been reading and watching. Stuff like that. I'll start with this comic. This is Showa, A History of Japan. Good old thick boy. This is actually the second volume of 4. I have all 4 of them, kind of collected them all recently, and I have been slowly but surely catching up with all of my comics. This is a book by Shigeru Mizuki, who I was not super familiar with, but I've heard good things about the book, and my comic book store, like the guy that works there, just went off about how incredible this guy is. He made someone a character that's very recognizable if you live in Japan or are Japanese and are used to and familiar with all of that stuff. named Kitaro. Little small kid with this little like eyeball monster that hangs out on the top of his head. And they go around, I guess, adventuring with a bunch of different yokai and like learning about them and all that stuff. And apparently he's done like he is like I guess like one of the experts on Japanese yokai over there. He just liked them so much and made a bunch of comics. But with this book in particular, it is a history of the Showa era of Japan, which is the time period in which Shigeru Mizuki grew up. So it starts when he's like a young kid, and goes through, goes through 1989, the year before I was born.
Me too.
I think that it starts in 1925, I think, is when these books start, and it documents that whole history, what led up to Japan kind of getting sucked into aligning themselves with Germany and Italy during World War II, and like how they got into all of that, and then this this book that I'm on now, volume 2, goes up to 1944, so just before the bomb. But in a really cool, interesting fact that made me want to read this book even more is that Shigeru fought in World War II, lost the use of his arm because he it got blown off, and that was his
You've told
dominant
me about
arm.
this.
And yeah, he had to like reteach himself how to draw and do art, and all of the comics that he made is with his non-dominant hand, and it's spectacular. Like he does these like really realistic renderings of like the backgrounds, the trees, the settings, but then he has these like really fun like cartoon style characters on top of that, so there's this interesting juxtaposition. But man, to just like reteach yourself how to draw, wild.
Yeah,
I don't think I'd ever be able to. But yeah, so good stuff with that. Let's see. I finished season 2 of Gravity Falls, so I've finally seen the whole thing.
That's
amazing show. I loved it.
Good.
Yeah. We covered that way back on the review show a long time ago. Season 1 of that. I started a K-drama called Vincenzo.
Would not have expected that's a K-drama.
Right? Yeah. It's the main character, who goes by the name Vincenzo, he was a former consigliere. Is that the right word? Consigliere to the mafia, the Italian. He was like their right hand man. He was their fixer. He was the one that did all the stuff. And for some reason he quits and goes home to Korea, and tries to he wants to destroy this certain building because there's like $150 billion worth of gold underneath it. So he wants to destroy it so he can get the gold. But in this kind of derelict building, there's still businesses there. There's apartments in there too, and there's like some poorer people living there. There's 2 Buddhist monks who have a temple in the building. There's a guy who runs this Italian restaurant in there, and he's not a very good cook, so no one really comes into the restaurant. There's some older people. There's some like former wrestlers who got hurt and now like are out of their career, and they stay there. And he ends up defending them in this like long legal battle against some pharmaceutical company that is trying to like take over the building and destroy it in their own way. But it's this thing of like, I can't let this company do these terrible things to these people, so I need to save these people, but at the end of the day I also want them out, and like I don't want them here. And so he's like slowly, I think, starting to fall in love with them, and just be like, you know what, I might give the gold to you guys, or who knows what. But it's an interesting one. And last but not least, I watched They Cloned Tyrone on Netflix, which also came out Barbenheimer weekend along with everything else. And it was an interesting one. I liked it. I don't think I truly loved it, though. It was a good, fun little movie. It had a lot of really cool ideas. John Boyega, phenomenal in that. It's him and Jamie Foxx, and I don't remember the woman's name who's in the lead. Paris? I apologize. I think that's right. That is ringing a bell. Yeah, it's good. It's fun. I enjoyed it. I just kind of wish they explored some of it a little bit more. Like, it was only like an hour and 20 minutes. I feel like it could have been longer to explore some of the themes that they were exploring in that. But it was good. Good sci-fi fun. But that's it. That's all. That's all I got. That's nice. The update for this week.
Nice rundown.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. But yeah, I think that kind of wraps us up for the week for this here podcast.
We did another recording in front of this, so it's late now.
We did. It is late. But yeah, I think we're gonna have to start checking our schedules to see when we do our next fantasy draft down the road. I think it's in September, like end of September, I think. But I'm gonna
sometime
double check that. Yeah.
It can be any time.
On top of it.
Truly,
it really can be. Yeah.
It can be earlier if you want more space between that and the next event, which is our 5th McRib Sterling. We're going to do this year, 4th or 5th.
Yeah, Halloween special. Yeah, I mean, we got some good fun stuff coming up down the road. Indeed. But Melissa, where can people find you on the interwebs?
I may be found on a Twitter and Instagram at Wilkywit, WILKYWIT. See me at your local theater, real excited about a puppet. And listen to my other podcast, Saturday Morning Obscurities.
Good stuff. You guys can find me at Yo Kyle Springer on Twitter and on Threads. And if you'd like to stay up to date with all of the stuff that we do here at the Whatnauts, we are at the Whatnauts on Twitter, at the Whatnauts Official on Threads. So please go like, share, and subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube, we got plenty more videos right over there for you all to check out. Go hit those. That would be a big help. This has been number 246 of the Whatnauts Captain's Log. We will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.